Many years ago, I had a dream about opening a club which would only open its doors between the months of October and April. A warm, welcoming place with roaring log fires and cozy nooks where you could sit with your friends and chat about things that interest you. Well, I couldn't even begin to afford to open a club, so the dream died. But its passing is commemorated by this podcast, presenting, for the winter months, a series of cozy chats with friends old and new on topics of interest. Welcome to the October Club. "40 years ago, at the age of 16, Ben Hudson and I sneaked our way into the Empire Studio Cinema in Sunderland, UK, to see an 18 certificate film. Ben was taller than me, so I kind of cowered behind him, hoping that they wouldn't notice. As it turned out, I think we could have worn our school uniforms and they wouldn't have given a toss. The film was Aliens, James Cameron's breathtaking sequel to 1979's smash hit Alien, and a smash hit in its own right. Tonight, almost 4 decades later, Ben joins me in the October Club to share memories and discuss the impact of a film that is widely regarded as one of the greatest sequels of all time. Looking through all the old star logs, I hadn't really kind of seen any of them. I found some of the. I'm not sure I found the one that you were saying that had the first.
It might be that's the scrapbook. That's a classic.
Yeah. That one. That's kind of. I think that's kind of the one I remembered.
That's the one I remember.
Yeah.
And it's got a big article, and I think the articles starts with them filming at the power station, but I might have mixed it up with something else.
And the official magazine and the official movie book, which make me laugh because
are the same thing.
Yeah, well, the official movie book, the official magazine is thicker than the movie book, and you think, what makes that a book?
Yeah, whatever the publisher says.
You're going out there to destroy them.
That's the plan.
All right, I'm in.
The first time she survived the most terrifying creature in the universe, she thought the nightmare was over.
Something under the floor.
It hadn't even begun.
It's coming straight for us.
That's inside the room.
Sigourney Weaver, Aliens, the new movie. This time, it's war. Rated R.
Hi, Ben. Welcome back to the October Club.
It's lovely to be here.
To talk about Aliens.
The greatest film ever made.
Yeah, 1986. It's horrifying that it's 40 years ago. I can't pretend it's not.
Do you know what? I was just thinking about this earlier today. I'm more bothered that the last conversation we had in this club was a year ago.
A year ago.
Than I am that was 40 years ago, because that conversation seems like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. No.
Whereas 40 years, I can see where 40 years has gone.
Yeah.
You know, but I can't see where that last 2 years or last year's gone.
Yeah.
Or 2 years since the first time we did one of these.
Yeah.
That's the frightening passage of time.
It simultaneously feels kind of the first one that we did simultaneously feels a long time ago and like yesterday. Somehow.
There's time travel for you.
Anyway, Aliens. I was kind of thinking about this, and I'd never really realized this until I started looking at the dates and that. But it straddles us being at school and having left school. When we first heard about this, we'll have still been at school. And
yes.
You'll have had your Starlog magazines at your house. That I used to go to your house at lunchtime from school.
I specifically remember bringing those particular Starlog magazines into school.
Yeah.
And reading them. And I seem to remember tech drawing or tech design or something like that, sitting in those classrooms and reading those magazines.
Yeah, I mean that'll have been the tail end of our time at comprehensive school.
That's
So they
when
were
we should have
probably
been
letting us.
studying for O levels. Yeah,
Well, we might have taken our exams. It was probably that time when they just you let you sit around and do anything
mm,
because they
yeah.
they just want rid of you. But by the time it came out, which was
We were free.
August, astonishingly, it was released in America in June, and we never got it
Yes,
till August. That's
but that was normal back then.
Yeah, it was. It's unheard of now.
Well, because you couldn't release a film and keep any sense of secrecy or any
Yeah,
sense of the film would be over here by you
yeah.
know on the interwebs within 3.5 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. We've got
So
video piracy to thank for all this.
yeah,
It was video
yeah.
piracy that made them think maybe we should release everything everywhere at the same time.
But yeah, it is I think one of the reasons it hits as such an important film for me is specifically that it was that gap between we
Yeah,
weren't adults, but
yeah,
it was that gap between being at school and being not at school,
yeah.
still not having a clue what we were doing, but we weren't school kids anymore, and we were
No.
going to an 18 film.
Yeah. Well, you saw it
And
before me, if I remember rightly. This is my memory of it, that you'd been because you were taller than me and could pass for 18. You had been to see it at the main. It should be explained to anybody who's listening that this was before there were any multiplexes in
yes,
Britain. So in Sunderland there were the would it have been the Canon then or the
it
ABC
would have been.
cinema,
I think it would have been the Canon by then,
which had
or
two
just about
screens.
to become the Canon.
Yeah, which had two screens, a big one and a kind of crappy little
Joke.
one.
Yeah,
And there was also the theatre had opened a thing called the Studio, which was an even smaller
even
cinema,
smaller,
which probably only sat about 200 people and had a screen about the
if that.
size of a modern television.
Yeah, if
And
it was 200 seats, I'd be surprised.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
you had managed to get in to see it at the Canon. I didn't, and it was shown again at the Studio. And we got in the studio
Yeah.
because they didn't pay much attention. They would let anybody in.
No, do you know what? I can't remember who I went to see it with the first time,
Yeah,
and I didn't until you said that. I didn't have any inkling that it would have been with anybody other than you.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't think I would have gone alone, but I'm not averse to going to see films alone. But I'm fairly sure I would have gone with somebody. I would have sworn it would have been with you, but I'll trust your memory.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah,
remember it. I don't think I'd have got in the
I know
Canon.
you were. I know you were very concerned about your chances of getting in to see it.
I mean, we were
Um,
16.
yeah,
It was an 18 certificate film.
yeah,
But yeah, that's how I remember it. Is that I think you had already seen it. You um couldn't wait.
and come raving and raving about it. Well,
Yeah,
the thing about couldn't wait comes into another thing about that film, which
yeah,
is we hadn't quite entered that period of hype yet,
yeah,
where
yeah,
Batman '89 was where hype really seemed to begin for films.
yeah, yeah,
So it was just the regular trailers on the movies and the fantastic making of special.
yeah, yeah,
You can't pull without gloves. Um, James Cameron special
yeah,
on TV. But I personally had built up such a head of steam about that film,
yeah.
being so desperate to see it. The fact that it didn't disappoint me, I still think is, an indication of how good a film it was.
Oh, was that from Starlog then, or from reading things in
I
Starlog?
think it was from Starlog. It was from loving the first one so much
Yeah, yeah,
and obsessing over the first one. And I've
yeah,
still got up on the shelf up here somewhere. I've still got the picture book, the Alien picture book.
yeah,
And I remember being so hyper for that film. I'd pretty
yeah,
much decided it was going to be my favorite film,
yeah, yeah,
and it helped that there was a character called Hudson in it.
yeah,
As a curious aside, in the first edition of Starlog, where they mentioned aliens, they
yeah,
had a little still image of the film,
yeah.
and it was the briefing scene in Operations.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Stop your grinning and drop your linen.
Yeah.
And it listed Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton both as the character Hicks,
Yeah.
which was obviously a misprint, but it was great because it kept it me for another month not knowing there was a Hudson in it.
Yes.
So when I found out there was a Hudson, I was like, "Ooh, I'm in this one." And he was remarkably like me, full of shit, and ultimately, a bit of a lightweight.
He's an interesting character because
He went down like a man.
you see a lot of 80s films and there are characters in it that originally were kind of supposed to be likable, but you watch it now and you think, oh, what a twat. But I think with him, he was kind of supposed to be he was supposed to be kind of ridiculous, there was no sense that he was kind of supposed to be heroic, but with retrospect he looked like an idiot, but he was kind of always supposed to be a blowhard.
Absolutely.
And he
And
plays
in
it
the special edition,
fantastically.
even more so.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. So yeah, I built myself up a head of steam wanting to see that, and that would explain why I went to see it without you, because it was just like I wasn't waiting.
Yes.
That movie was out, and I was going to see that thing.
Yeah.
And it didn't let me down. It didn't disappoint me because I know I went to see it. I think I went to see it 3 times.
Yeah.
Which in the world of people going to see films multiple times is nothing.
Yeah.
But in my world, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
To actually pay to see it at the cinema, £1 at the Canon, and it didn't let me down, and it still doesn't.
Yeah.
Because I can still watch that now and still marvel at like they did this for 16.5 million. It's preposterous.
What astounded me watching it, kind of because I watched it in preparation for this, was there are one or two iffy effects
cheesy
in it.
effects, rear projection, crashing dropships.
Yeah, but what astounded me was the practical sets and the practical models and the vehicles and things, which are just enormous. They're absolutely enormous. They probably do most of that with kind of green screen now, but the time they built that massive hangar inside the spacecraft, that's got the dropship and the dropship is real.
Yeah, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
And I think when you watch these modern films that the young people watch, you can tell none of it's got any weight, none of it's real.
Yeah.
And any of the new Star Wars stuff that's made within the whatever it is, the sphere, the globe, the whatever it is, it none of it feels real.
Yeah.
Which is fine, if you're happy with that. But I'm not, because I'm a prick. And I like, it's science fiction. It's not real. So when you see something that is real, and you go, well, that's clearly real. How did they do it?
Yeah.
So even now, 40 years afterwards, I'll watch Ripley walking around in the power loader, and it's just a suit built around her, and there's puppeteers moving bits, and she's moving bits, but it looks real to me.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the stuff now, it's easier for them to do it with CGI, so they just do it with CGI, so you're not sucked into it.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been a lot better for the actors as well. That
so.
they could like walk around that hangar, and they could touch the dropship, they could get in the dropship. It's a full size practical prop. Well, no,
but
practical,
being completely selfish as I am, I don't care about the actors. I care about my viewing experience. If you want to sign up to Avatar and make Avatar and have nothing and just make everything up in your head, that's fine. But I struggle with Avatar. I've seen the first Avatar, and it's interesting with it being Jim Cameron. I've seen the first one. I've seen the first 5 minutes of the second one.
Yeah.
And I got very bored very quick.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the third one. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Because I love everything he did up until that.
Yeah, I mean, watching Aliens again, I just felt a sort of excitement that I was just thinking, I just don't feel this watching something like Avatar.
Now, I've said this in previous conversations with you, and I don't have arguments with my son about it, but we do.
Yeah.
he has commented about, you don't enjoy your films anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't. There's
Yeah.
very little that comes out now that I enjoy. And when I am looking forward to something, it's even more of a disappointment when I see it. So if we go off on a
Yeah.
tangent from Aliens for a moment to Alien Earth,
Yeah.
have you seen Alien Earth?
I have seen Alien Earth.
Should we talk about this later, or should we just address this now?
We can address it now. I can always move it around
Um,
at the edit or something.
I hated Alien Earth.
Yeah.
And the first episode, that's all
Yeah.
right. Let's see where this is going. The second one, I stopped watching it after 4.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen the second half of the series because it was just like this. This is not. And the people who made it, I
Yeah.
love the TV versions of Fargo,
Yeah.
and it's the same guy
Yeah.
or connected. And I just sat and watched it and just gone, no, these are all morons, and this is all stupid, and none of this is
Yeah.
real, and it's got no weight to it, and everybody's stupid.
Yeah.
Whereas the characters in Alien and Aliens, very believable.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
just talking about, Hudson is a blowhard and he's a dickhead,
Yeah.
but he's a US Marine,
Yeah.
so it fits. Every other one of those Marines,
Yeah.
they behave like Marines, overconfident.
It's fantastically cast. I mean,
Mm.
especially since it's possibly not cast the way he originally wanted to cast it, because the fact that he had to cast several either British actors or American actors
American actors
working in Britain,
Yeah.
that he kind of didn't want to do. This was kind of forced on him a bit. When you consider that, it actually works fantastically well because you can't imagine anybody else in those parts.
No, and it's funny. I've listened to Michael Bean's podcast a lot,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've listened to any of it, but
No.
he talks about aliens a lot
Yeah.
because he wouldn't he?
Yeah.
So between Aliens and Terminator and Tombstone,
Yeah.
other than that, he doesn't talk about a lot of films.
Yeah.
But he does talk about it, and he talks about the casting a lot.
Yeah.
And
Because he wasn't supposed to be in it originally, was it? It was
he wasn't.
James Remar.
Yeah. That another little story he tells, and I'll steal it from him.
Yeah.
James Remar was in it when he was caught with some pretty hardcore drugs,
Yeah.
and basically told to leave the UK,
Yes.
which is interesting. You would have thought people would just get arrested.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was heroin or cocaine, but it was one of the big ones.
Yeah.
And he was basically told to leave the UK.
Yeah.
So they kicked him out of the UK and called Michael Bean and said, "Yeah, you available? Get over here right now." So he came over right away. The first week he was in London, he tells this story.
Yeah.
Him and Bill Paxton were staying in the same house because they were longtime friends, and they got high on just cannabis or whatever,
Yeah.
and decided to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And realized as they were walking back towards the house that there was some policemen following them, and the policemen were interested in these two giggly American guys.
Yeah.
Followed them to the door and were sort of ready to come into the house if they'd had any chance to get in the house. And if they'd come in, they would have found all the drugs lying all over the floor. So Michael Bean, who had just been hired to replace the actor who was chased out of England for being on drugs, was very nearly kicked out of the country for being on drugs.
Yeah.
And that sort of demonstrates how perilous the casting was in that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I found amusing, another casting thing, which is really mind-bending, because they were casting pretty much any American actor they could find who was in London at the time.
Yeah.
And Full Metal Jacket was being made at the same time. And they were casting pretty much any American actor they could find who was in London at the time. There's a number of actors who had to choose between the two films.
Yeah.
And apparently Stanley Kubrick really wanted Rico Ross
All right.
to be in Full Metal Jacket, and Rico Ross had to decide which one he wanted to be in.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of actors, there's a couple of other actors, and apparently they were all socializing together throughout the production, except the Full Metal Jacket guys were filming when Aliens started filming.
Yeah.
And the Full Metal Jacket guys were still filming when Aliens hit the cinema. So they filmed the whole film, went away, did post-production, came back and released the film, and the Full Metal Jacket guys were still there filming with Kubrick.
Well, that's Kubrick for you.
There you go.
I was surprised actually watching it again how far up the cast Rico Ross gets, considering he's in the first batch of Marines to get killed off.
Yeah,
Spoilers, but
yeah.
if you you shouldn't really
Apparently
say this if you haven't seen it.
apparently his part was bigger.
Yeah,
And as his part got shrunk, not just during production and editing, but even before then, he was getting really pissed. And Jim Cameron was saying, "Don't worry, you're going to look really good. You're going to look really good." He disappears fairly quickly, and
so that's a bit like Paul McGann in Alien 3, isn't it? He's like right up quite high on the cast, and you're watching it thinking, is Paul McGann in this?
Where did his scenes go? Yes.
Actually, it's funny you saying about James Remar. That's a kind of connection between that and the original Alien, because the same thing happened on that, didn't it? Because John Finch, well, almost the same thing. John Finch was going to play the John Hurt part.
Yeah.
And he had problems. He hadn't told them that he
hadn't told
was diabetic.
He had some sort of major kidney problem as well, or something. Yeah.
And so he passed out when he was having his face covered in plaster of Paris.
Well, they reckon that the first day of filming or something, the cameraman was saying that he's yellow. How do I light him? He's yellow.
Yeah.
Going, there might be something wrong here. Well, that links to another point about Aliens and why Aliens was so anticipated and why it was so good, which is you can't talk about one without the other.
Yeah.
They often talk about Aliens being the best sequel ever made. It's right up there with Godfather 2 and Terminator 2. And I think if you look at that whole series of films, there's virtually nobody who doesn't think that Alien and Aliens are both brilliant.
Yeah.
Some people think Alien is more brilliant, and some people think Aliens is more brilliant. And I think you and I fall on the two sides of that.
Yeah, but it's very close, though. I mean,
but it's close, it doesn't matter because they're both amazing films.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks Alien 3.
No.
It's a brilliant film. Nobody thinks Alien Resurrection's a brilliant film. I'm not going to mention those two. And then there's Prometheus and Covenant.
Yeah.
And then have you seen Romulus?
I have, yeah. I think it's okay to a certain point, and then it just kind of loses it.
Well, do you know epically. What? I remember because it's not long ago.
Yeah.
I went to see it with my son, and for those listening, I'm 55. My son's 22.
Yeah.
So he's a big boy now, and he's got his own movie tastes and likes his movies, and he was very bothered knowing how much I like Aliens. He was very bothered that I wasn't particularly excited going to see Romulus. I just had a very bad feeling about it. And we went into the movies, and you say it's good to a point.
Yeah.
The moment that movie lost me was on the opening Fox fanfare when it ripped off Alien 3.
Yeah.
Because when it did that at the start, I was going, this is just going to be nothing but references to the other films.
Yeah, and it's
not going to try and stand on its own feet. And it's just a greatest hits thing right the way through. Takes good bits and remakes them, takes bad bits and remakes them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really ballsy thing to go, the newborn Alien in Alien Resurrection was one of the worst things ever put on film.
Yeah.
We're going to do it again.
Yeah.
I just hated that film.
I think what goes wrong with some of the ones after Aliens is that you get a series of directors who have been poached, they've been headhunted. They go, oh, this director's really hot, or this director's kind of, got a fantastic style, we'll get him on. Whereas Jim Cameron kind of wanted to do that. He wanted to make Aliens.
I also think the thing was with Fincher on Alien 3 and with Genet on Alien Resurrection, they've got amazing sort of visionary directors, but then they've handcuffed them.
Yeah.
They've got David Fincher, and then they said, oh, no, it has to be released on this day.
Yeah.
And there's a guy on the making of documentary who says, we didn't make a film, we made a release date. because it was just about getting that film finished and in the cinemas on time, and it
Yeah.
wasn't about making the film well. And if you think what Fincher probably could have done if he just left him alone to make an Alien film,
Yeah, yeah.
with what he's done since then, and it's not like it took him a long time to learn. His next film was Seven, and then after that he does The Game. He's not bad. You know,
Yeah.
if you think what he would have done if he had been left alone to make Alien 3 the
Well,
way he
yeah.
wanted to make it, it would have
Yeah.
been a pretty awesome film.
Yeah. I mean, Alien Resurrection, Janae has been kind of quite open about the fact that he says this was like, one of when I get asked to do an
Hmm.
advert and you know, I
Yeah,
get paid a certain amount of money and I'll do
it's
the
just for
advert. And,
money. Yeah, okay,
he
yeah,
really didn't care for
yeah.
the film. And I think that's why those later two, the third and the fourth kind
Hmm.
of don't look great because they're kind of,
They're commercial.
yeah, they're
I
too
mean,
commercial.
Aliens is ridiculously commercial, but it's like you say that the idea came first rather than the release date.
Yeah, don't you think that with Cameron they had no expectations of him because when they brought him on board, the Terminator hadn't even been released.
I think they were saying that he wrote it before Terminator came out,
Yeah,
and then went off and wrote Rambo:
right, yeah,
First Blood Part Two. I didn't mean to say the whole title of that. And Stallone wanted him to direct Rambo, but when Terminator came out was such a big hit,
yeah,
the Fox came back and were like, "All right,
yeah,
do you want to do that Alien thing? Do you want to do it?" At
yeah,
which point it was like, "Well, I'm not going to do Rambo.
yeah,
I can direct my own film."
yeah.
Yeah, it's just he's just on another level in that film.
Yeah, I mean, it is extraordinary that they took him on board prior to the success of the Terminator, because it's like kind of, who should we have to do Alien 2? Let's get that guy from Piranha 2 Flying Killers.
I think though that the world we don't know. They talk
Yeah,
about Terminator being a big surprise and nobody expecting it,
yeah,
but I suspect that screenplay had been seen by enough people in enough high places that they'd gone, "Hey, this is a big good,"
yeah,
and that the First Blood script, the Rambo script, was obviously floating around, and the fact that he got the Rambo job, that was floating around. That there must have been a little bit of sort of heat around Jim
yeah,
Cameron,
yeah,
despite the fact that he hadn't done much, for
yeah,
them to be going, yeah, because he told the story that he went into to meet the guys at Fox, and
yeah.
they wanted him to write a script for something like a space-based Spartacus or something.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah,
Yeah,
that rings a
some
bell.
weird
Yeah,
thing. And he was like, "Nah, I don't fancy that." And they said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And he was like, "Well, I really liked Alien.
yeah,
I'd love." And they were like, "Oh, well, all right, yeah, go and write that." And the alleged pitch for Alien was, having written the treatment, was that he just wrote Alien on a whiteboard and then put an
yeah,
S on the end and then put a dollar sign through the S.
yeah.
And it was like, and they went, "Yeah, all right, we like that. That's nice and simple. We can understand that concept."
Yeah, because it's bizarre to look at by modern standards, but Fox weren't that bothered about making a sequel to Alien for
Yeah,
years, were they?
yeah,
Because, I mean, part of it was Alan Ladd had been pushed
yeah,
out after having greenlit Star Wars and Alien. They virtually
yeah.
fired
But
him.
he's only got two ideas.
Like their two
Not
most
bad
massive
ideas.
films in years,
Mm.
and they let him go. Um, but and the new people weren't that bothered, about following. Obviously, they must have been. Star Wars was probably
Yeah,
Empire Strikes Back
I
was
mean,
probably already in the works, but
yeah, I mean, far be it from us to lament the current state of cinema, but
yeah,
at the time they were kind of interested in doing original properties, and
yeah,
like it was like we don't have to make a sequel to everything.
yeah, and
um
the kind of
and
sequel, the way they did sequels in those days as well. If you look at something like Planet of the Apes, was they
yeah,
just get cheaper as they go on.
yeah,
They just
we've
get
got all
cheaper
this
and
shit,
cheaper.
can we use it again?
Yeah,
We've got all these props. What, build a whole bunch of new props?
yeah.
No. Space truckers worked once, let's do it again.
And I mean, Aliens. I'd assume it was more expensive than Alien. I mean, There seems to be
I
seems to
think
be a
it
lot
was, but
more in
not
it.
as much as you would think. I
Yeah,
think Alien was something like 10 million,
yeah,
and Aliens was 16, I think,
yeah,
or something like that. But it was meant to be a lot more, but they kept on cutting his budget, and Jim Cameron was kind of like, "Yeah, I can do that,"
yeah,
because he had come up through the Corman school.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
um, and there's a story about somebody going to the set of, I'm not sure if it was Galaxy of Terror or Battle Beyond the Planets,
yeah.
Battle Beyond the
Battle Beyond the
Stars,
Stars.
Battle
Yeah,
Beyond the Stars. Um, they went to the set and they met Jim Cameron, and he was taking them around the set, and everybody was coming up and asking him questions, and they
yeah,
thought he was the director or the producer, and then
yeah,
they found out he was just the boss of the model shop. But he was basically running the show
yeah,
for them, and that's apparently when they decided this guy's got a future.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, the you can see, I mean, because that was his background before directing, wasn't it, in
Mm,
models and things.
yeah,
And you can see that he's got an understanding of it just from the way he kind of shoots them and things in Aliens.
yeah, and also that early behind the scenes stuff that we saw at the
Yeah,
time. Again, you can't pull without gloves, all of
yeah,
that kind of stuff. That he seemed to understand everything from the simplest level of, if I want to pull this facehugger off that thing towards the
yeah,
camera and make it move at the proper speed, I'm gonna have to really tug that cable,
yeah,
and I'm gonna have to have gloves on, or I'm not gonna be able to tug it hard enough.
yeah,
And if he's on that level of specificity
yeah,
with the lowest member of his crew, that
yeah,
you can't pull that wire right for me,
yeah.
and
I mean,
it's another level of insanity.
yeah, I mean, he was so hands. I mean, they were both Gale and Hurd as well was hands on.
Yeah,
Isn't there supposedly a shot in that where Vasquez
yeah,
shoots an alien in
she
the face and it's Gale and Hurd
yeah,
firing the gun?
Jeanette Goldstein didn't want to use a gun in
Yeah,
such a tight
yeah,
enclosed space, because the gun's only like an arm length, well, not even an arm length away from her face, and they're surrounded by the prop.
yeah.
So she wouldn't do it. So it's Gail Ann Hurd's hand in the close up, um, which seems very fitting. Um,
That's very hands on for a
yeah,
producer.
for a producer. No, there's his level on that film, and like everything I've seen about Jim Cameron indicates he's a complete arsehole.
Yes, you wouldn't want to work with.
That he's unbearable. But when there was constraints, and I think I've said this to you recently as well. I think films went off the rail when there ceased to be sort of barriers.
Yeah,
Once they could do anything, well, they just did.
yeah,
Whereas back then, you had to figure out how to do things, and you had to be very responsible with your budget. You had to cut every dollar to make sure the budget fit.
yeah,
Um, and as a result, they really thought about what they were doing.
yeah,
And I think Cameron fits into that, because everything he did up until pretty much Avatar, I love, because you can see the work that went into it.
yeah.
From Avatar onwards, it's just computers.
It is, yeah,
And
yeah,
and his interest in writing them doesn't even seem particularly great. It's like, oh, I can do the same film again.
yeah,
Whereas all of that stuff, whether it's that or Terminator 2 or True Lies or
yeah,
Titanic, all those films, the level of technical complexity, I love.
When they did the fire gag, we're falling back after the first, major attack where we just basically get decimated by the aliens, and we're falling back into the APC, and Drake's flamethrower shoots inside and catches on fire. And what they did, they set different parts of the set on fire, strategic parts. Some of the set was made out of plastic, and some of that started to burn. It caused a toxic gas. And I remember just really clearly Jeanette Goldstein saying, "I can't breathe," and I remember just, this is such an actorly moment. But I thought, hey, that's a good improv. And the very next thing I remember is taking a breath, and there literally being no oxygen, just like. And then I realized, oh my God, she's not in character. She's suffocating like I am.
It was like Bill said, like somebody had sucked all the breath out of me, and I was like.
It's kind of like what you feel like when you hear about chemical weapons and so on and so forth, what it would be like. And you suck in, there's like nothing other than fire in your lungs.
Cut, they pulled us all out. They had to give us oxygen. They sent us to lunch. And I remember we came back to shoot the same shot after lunch, and the exact same thing happened. So I think they ended up taking the roof off the top of it so the flames and the smoke had somewhere to ventilate while we shot.
You mentioned the extended edition earlier on.
Yes.
So, which is your preferred version?
I prefer the extended one on that because I think the little bits that are added, I'm not wild about the Hadley's Hope bits.
Yeah,
I think they're the one bit that looks a little bit sort of cheap.
yeah,
But certainly the sentry guns and the extra bits of Bill Paxton mouthing off on the dropship on the way down.
yeah. I had the choice when watching it, before this, of kind of watching the original edit or
Yeah,
the extended edition. And I chose the original edit because, like you said, the bits with the colonists, I think, slow it down.
yeah.
I think the other stuff, like you
And
say, with
it's
the
better having a
automated
complete
guns,
mystery
yeah,
when you arrive. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm very rarely extended editions of films. I very rarely defer to the extended edition. I think, or
Yes.
the
Yeah.
one. Well, it's not really an extended edition, but the one I would say that makes a difference is Blade Runner. But apart from that, I don't think kind of.
I was very
Yeah,
proud or very happy or whatever the word is. I saw somebody commenting on a film page on Facebook the other day,
yeah,
and so it was kind of like, is it okay? But I actually prefer the original cut of Blade Runner with the bad
with the
narration on,
narration.
and I'm
But
like,
I always
yes,
like the
it's fine,
narration.
it's
Yeah,
okay, because I love the original version of Blade Runner with the narration and
yeah.
the happy ending and um the outcuts from The Shining.
Yeah,
Um,
but there are kind of sort of other improvements to it, I think, which kind of have
there's
really
bits and
helped
pieces,
it,
but like I'm like I just like that cut, but
Yeah,
I've watched that cut so many times. So yeah, I hate the extended Alien.
yeah, yeah. With
Yeah,
the scene with the Dallas,
the scene with Dallas with the
yeah,
kill me, and there's a few other little bits and pieces. I was actually watching it. I don't know where I was watching it. I think I might have not downloaded.
yeah,
It wouldn't have been a downloaded version, but I was watching it a while ago and didn't realize I was watching the special edition
yeah, yeah,
or the director's cut, and it was just like every now and again there'd just be a little bit of a different take, and I was going,
yeah,
hang on, did did that? I don't remember
yeah,
that. It can't be. I can't not remember a bit of Alien. I've seen this film far
yeah,
too many times, and then all of a sudden I'm getting towards her running around the ship, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to see the Dallas thing.
yeah,
Don't know if I want to.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I
yeah,
prefer the original cut of that. I prefer the original cut of Blade Runner.
yeah,
I like I say, I'm 50-50 on the Aliens one.
yeah.
I'm very happy with the original cut, but I do like anything that gives me a little bit more Hudson.
Did Cameron
Is
have anything to do with the extended cut, or was he?
I think I think he did in the respect that that was actually the original cut of the film, and
Yeah,
they told him, we want 18 minutes out of this or 15 minutes out of this
yeah,
to get the extra showing in a day or whatever it
yeah,
was. So he went, all right, well, bit like he's cut on the abyss. It's like,
yeah,
I can take 20 minutes out if I just remove this whole subplot.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because that's the thing
So,
that a lot of people don't. It doesn't really get appreciation for this Aliens, but I mean, people always say, "Oh, it's a roller coaster ride and all that." Yes, it is once it kicks in, but nobody ever
mm,
really comments on the kind of incredible slow build of tension. I mean, you don't see an
mm,
alien until an hour into
mm,
it. You know,
yeah.
in the cinema release. I can't remember the extended release or the
Even the
seeing.
extended release, it's a long, long way in because you don't
Yeah,
see anything. You just
it's
see the
yeah.
kid's dad, Newt's dad, with a facehugger on his face.
Yeah. But it's like
But
it's
other
like
than
a,
that, there's
a
nothing.
whole hour in the
Mm,
cinema release before you see anything, and it's like a slow build of tension because you know something's going to happen, and you're kind of sitting there going,
yes.
"Oh, when's it going to
That's
happen?"
because back in our day, we had some patience, you see.
Yeah,
Yeah. You don't need to see a shark for an hour, and you don't need to see an alien for an hour, and you don't need to see, you know, anything
yeah,
else for a long time.
But that's why the way of making films like that was better because you in that hour you've got a sort of combination of the tension building and you're getting to know the characters. So it
Yeah,
matters when one of those characters dies, you know.
we're gonna sound very old, Paul.
Yeah.
We're gonna sound very old on this one because
Well,
yeah, we are man shouting at clouds
yeah,
because yeah, it's noticeable as I was saying before that once they could do anything,
yeah,
it just seems like the solution to every problem is just to throw special effects at it,
yeah,
and the quality of writing now is abysmal.
yeah. You do get
You
that a
know,
lot in films now, though, where there's characters that, a character is killed and you think, well, I don't
I
really know
didn't
who he
know who
was
that
and I didn't
was.
like him
Yeah,
anyway.
was I supposed to like him?
Yeah,
That's the one where it's a big moment. Somebody dies and it's a big moment, and you go, "Oh, did we care about him?
yeah.
Oh, somebody should have told me." Um,
Like you were saying about Romulus, there's that British guy in that who's absolute shit, and you're thinking, well, you're gonna die. From the
yeah.
minute he comes in here, you're thinking, you're definitely gonna die.
Well, again, I think, and this goes back to what we were talking about with Fincher doing number three and Genet doing number four, and
Yeah,
I think the difference between Alien and Aliens, other than
yeah,
everything,
yeah,
but is that Alien one character survives.
yeah,
Aliens three and a half characters survive. He didn't feel he needed to finish it the same way with just the one character,
yeah,
just the final guy.
yeah,
Whereas beyond that, the entire series of films has been right. Well, we're going to give you this many characters so that we can kill off this many characters. I know there's a whole bunch survive at the end of Resurrection.
well, yeah,
Probably too many. They didn't kill off characters
yeah,
when they could have done. Um, but it's almost like they didn't deviate from the model. So by the
yeah,
time you get to Romulus, 7 films in,
yeah,
even further if we count the 2 films we're not going to mention.
yes,
Um, you get to that point where it's well, we're gonna kill everyone.
yeah,
They're all gonna die.
yeah,
You know, and you might get the girl's gonna live. We know the girl's gonna live because it's an
yeah,
alien film. The girl has to live through to the end, and then we'll maybe give her one pal
yeah,
who can get right the way through to the end. But it just makes it very, very predictable. Let's kill everyone.
yeah,
Let's have a film where it ends with somebody killing the alien by killing themselves.
yeah.
Let's go really dark.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it would have been so easy for them to have made Alien 2 being sort of pretty much a retread of Alien with new
yeah,
characters. And I think
yeah.
possibly a lesser director would have just gone for that rather than
I
try to
think
take it somewhere
said
different.
one of the original ideas was supposedly that another ship would pick up Ripley and that she'd already have given birth to an alien
Yeah.
because that way they wouldn't have to pay Sigourney Weaver and the crew of this new ship wouldn't know what the alien was, so they could do the whole ignorant thing for half the film again.
Yeah.
And
That's just the same film, isn't it?
like you say, a stunning lack of imagination there. Well done.
Yeah.
An interesting one was that when they were doing Alien 3,
Yeah.
I was listening to Michael Biehn talking about this just the other day. When they were doing Alien 3, Michael Biehn was making another film, and the producer of that film went to Pinewood Studios
Yeah.
just incidentally and saw the body sculpture of him with his chest caved in,
Yeah.
and went back to him and said, "Oh, I just went over to Pinewood and I saw you there." And he was like, "What?" She said, "So did you not know you were in Alien 3?" And he went, "No." So not only did they not hire him, and not only did they kill him off, but they didn't tell him they were doing it. And as it was set up, it was he gave birth to an alien, or he had
Yeah.
given birth to an alien, and his legal representatives and agents basically went to Fox and says, "You're not using Michael Biehn's
Yeah.
likeness to give birth to an alien." He wasn't so much bothered about them using his likeness
Yeah.
or killing off the character. He just didn't want to be giving birth. He says, "There's
Yeah.
no way I'm going to cause the alien problem. I did not get attacked by an alien. I did not get a facehugger on me.
Yeah.
So you're not using," which is why they had to rewrite it and say he was impaled by a whatever post when the ship
Yeah.
crashed. Again, stunning lack of imagination. the title sequence where you see that egg on board the Sulaco.
Yeah.
And for all I really wanted to enjoy Alien 3,
Yeah.
the second I saw that, if it hadn't been for that opening 20th Century Fox bit and the fact that
Yeah.
title sequence was so grungy,
Yeah.
I would have lost it right there and then, because I remember seeing that egg and thinking, who laid that egg?
Yeah.
The Queen got on board the ship. She didn't have much time to lay anything. She didn't have her egg sac.
Yeah.
She'd lost that. She'd left that back on the planet. Where's the egg come? You lazy bastards. You're just going to start this film. I really, really wish that, what's his name? District 13. Blomkamp.
Yeah.
I really wish he had been able to make his Alien sequel, because that apparently was just going to pick up after Aliens and act as if 3 and 4 and everything just didn't exist.
Yes.
It was just Sigourney Weaver and Michael Biehn years later.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd quite like to erase them.
Yeah.
And I like Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. I should point this out after all the slagging off. I'll watch them again and again, but I don't consider them to be,
I have difficulty with Resurrection.
Well, I like it from the point of view of it's a science fiction film.
Yeah.
I don't really think of it as being I'm the same with Prometheus.
Yeah.
I loathe Prometheus as an alien film.
Yeah.
But as a separate piece of science fiction, I think it's kind of an okay alien knockoff.
I quite like Prometheus because I think I can see what he was trying to do with it. I think Ridley Scott, I've never read this anywhere, but I get the impression he was wanting to keep it secret, to say, no, this isn't an alien, this is just my new film. And then, oh, look, aliens. But obviously the studio of like, well, if we tell people there's aliens, more people are going to go and see it.
More people will come and see it,
yeah. So they and you have this like conflict. I think that's what was going on there, but
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah.
But I would have far preferred that film. Less people would have gone to see it.
Yeah.
But I would have far preferred that film if that was just an individual piece of science fiction.
Yeah.
And I would have far preferred Covenant if it just didn't exist. I would have enjoyed not watching that. And Romulus, I just hate Romulus, just with a passion.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, we're talking about Resurrection there. I've always thought that's a perfect example of how you can have all the right people on a film.
Yeah.
People who individually are fantastic.
Yeah.
But sort of somehow put them together and it just all goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because all the actors
again,
in that are wonderful actors. You know, you've got a fantastic, Oscar-winning director. You've got a great writer, but it just doesn't work somehow.
No, and again, part of that could be explained with what you were saying before about it was just a job.
Yeah.
It was a job. But I also think part of it, you can see it's one of his films.
Yeah.
But I almost think
it's got Dominic Pignon in it. So
well, not
so
just that it's got. Not just that it's got him, but also that it's got, just the design of the costumes.
Yeah.
And the fact that it looks in places like a comic book.
Yeah.
And that Ron Perlman is just not playing seriously. It's like Ron Perlman knows this film is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he's just going to play it as ridiculous. And I think it would have been better if Genet had just gone off completely.
Yeah.
And just been allowed just to make it and make the whole thing in French.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's that story, isn't it? I don't know how true it is that the Dominique Pignon spoke no English at all.
Yeah.
And literally learned all his lines phonetically.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
And it sounds like it. But I think, why not make Alien in French?
Yeah.
Everybody in that film, I think, could speak French. Sigourney Weaver can speak French. Ron Perlman can speak French.
Yeah.
The director obviously spoke French. Dominique Pignon speaks French. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Wincott does, because he's quite a sophisticated, devil-may-care guy.
Yeah.
But just like you say, it's got all the attributes, and just it doesn't it doesn't connect.
Yeah. Just going back there to the special edition and things like that.
Yeah,
I kind of like the fact that Cameron doesn't go back, and it would be very easy for him to do a George Lucas and go back and correct. As we've said,
mm,
there's one or two like dodgy effects in it that don't look so great these days. It'd be easy for him to go back and fix those, but he doesn't. His attitude seems to be, I did that the best I could at that
yeah.
time. That's it. If you don't like it, too bad. That's what it
I
is.
think the only thing he's gone back and corrected, I don't know if you know
Yeah.
about this one, is the sky in Titanic.
All right. Yeah.
Have you heard about this one?
No, no.
Um, Apparently, Neil deGrasse Tyson
Hmm.
made some comment in a video about how there's a shot of the sky
Yeah.
over the Titanic as it's going across the ocean, and he's saying, well, of course the stars are all wrong because this was this time of the year, but it was in 19 whatever rather than
Yeah.
in 2000. So it should have been these stars. Well, apparently Cameron went back
Yeah.
20 years later and he's changed the sky. So if you watch a modern a modern version of it on streaming, you'll see it with the correct stars above the Titanic. Nobody knows. Nobody knows it's a different shot. Cameron knows, and Neil deGrasse Tyson
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. That seems okay though, because that's just him
Yeah,
being kind of arsey rather
that's just
than him
being
kind of
sick.
going,
Yeah,
kind of saying, "Oh, I need to. This doesn't
mm,
look good enough," in a kind of George Lucas type way.
yeah.
Uh,
Now, I wouldn't want to change anything about, and I think he's right. You wouldn't want to change anything about the film,
yeah. Yeah.
um, because it's the best film ever made.
Yeah. I mean, like I
Yeah,
say, those, and there's more than one back projection that I noticed this time where you can see it's a back projection.
yeah,
There's a one towards the end as well, and it doesn't bother me that I grew up watching Doctor Who. It doesn't bother me if you can see it's it's a
mm,
television program or a film. It doesn't have to look like reality. Um,
no.
so I wouldn't need that
I,
fixing.
I, I think what's interesting, and this goes back to my interest in watching other people watching films, when you do show old films to young people, like my kids, for example,
Yeah,
um, and you see some fairly cheesy special effects, and I'm sitting there watching them, and I love the film,
yeah,
and I know I love the film, and I know my kids are hooked, and they're in, and they're watching it, and I know there's a really dodgy special effect coming up, and I'm thinking, are they going to give me the oh god, that's terrible
yeah,
routine? But they don't,
yeah,
because they're engaged enough in the film that they don't care that Jaws is a big rubbery terrible thing with a floppy mouth. They're just like, yeah, that's a big shark jumping on a boat, chewing on Robert Shaw. Good, like it.
yeah,
Next, bit more. And the same with Aliens. I've never seen anybody make a comment about those bits that stick out like a sore thumb to me now.
yeah, yeah.
And we certainly didn't pick up on it in the movies when we were
No,
watching
I mean,
because
yeah,
you just go barrel, barrel, barrel. Here we go.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's does not need changing.
I was saying before that it has that slow build up. People think of it as a roller coaster ride, but it is when it gets to
Mm,
that point. So you have that. It's quite a nice structure of the film because you have this
mm,
really slow build up, and then once it kicks in, it just doesn't stop.
yeah.
Right to the end, it just doesn't stop. It never slows
Well,
down.
it is the original roller coaster. That wind
Yeah,
up to the top of the first
yeah,
thing is very, very slow. But once you get up
yeah,
and start down, you can't get off. You're just
yeah.
stuck on it. And
And I think that's the problem, possibly with the sounding old again, of a lot of modern films, is they don't do the kind of going up to the peak of the roller coaster. They cut that bit out and just start
yeah,
at the top, and that
yeah,
works. I can understand why people did that, like why Sam Raimi did that in Evil Dead 2 and things like that. As an
mm,
experiment, that works. Just start at 11 and keep going.
yeah, and keep
But
going.
you can't do that on every film, and that seems to be kind of what they do a lot these days. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think it's the thing about if there's no limits on what they can do,
Yeah.
they think they can do anything.
Yeah.
And I
Mm.
think when you see good filmmakers doing good work,
Yeah.
and they just doesn't in old fart time, that doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. It just seems to be we've got the special effects.
Yeah.
We've got to use the special effects because people expect them now.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't rely on good writing
Yeah.
to get us around this. And there seems to be a very lazy attitude to writing now.
Yeah.
These characters are good, so we can't do anything bad to them.
Yeah.
The old Sam Raimi thing about, the innocent must suffer.
Yes.
The hero must be covered in blood.
Yeah.
You can't do that. The heroes have to be, relatively unscathed throughout.
Yeah.
You can kill Iron Man, but you're going to have to bring him back in a couple of movies' time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. And
Yeah.
it does show through incredibly in something like the new Star Wars films.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, well, she's our hero, so we'll just let
Yeah.
her do everything good,
Yeah.
and we'll just make everything bright and flashy around her, and
Yeah.
then it'll all be fine because people like bright and flashy, but people want a story,
Yeah.
and they want to struggle. She doesn't suffer. She should suffer. She should have people dying around her who she cares about.
Yeah.
She gets some old bloke that she met yesterday.
There's also this thing, I've heard this from sort of fairly reliable sources that kind of writers on things for Netflix and so on are told
Yeah,
that you have to have characters explaining what's going on all the time
yeah,
because
because
so
people
much
aren't paying attention.
yeah, people are doing it on their phone while they're watching, and
Yeah,
you think, well, they shouldn't be. If they miss stuff because they're on their phone, that's their own stupid fault, isn't it? They shouldn't have to
yeah,
explain
yeah,
everything to you.
but that's again, yeah, that's it's part of the bad writing, and I don't
Yeah,
blame the writers for the bad writing. I blame the producers for the bad writing
yeah,
because the
yeah.
writers are clearly being instructed
To do that,
to
yeah,
do this, and it's you just think they should be able to do better with what they're doing at the moment. And going back to Romulus,
yeah,
why somebody would think, right, we've got an opportunity now. We've got the greatest effects we've ever had.
yeah,
We can spend ridiculous amounts of money on this. Why they think, yeah, but what we do is we stuff the film with as much references to better films as we can because we're not confident in our own ability to make this.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like, really?
yeah,
I can't imagine in the 1970s or the 80s
yeah,
somebody going, yeah, look, I'm just not confident I can make a good film, so I'll just have everybody explaining what's going on permanently,
yeah,
and I'll just keep on throwing references into older films
yeah,
non-stop.
yeah,
Um, it didn't sit right with me as a fuddy
yeah,
duddy.
yeah. We should probably mention, going back to Aliens, we should probably mention James Horner's music here,
Yes,
which is kind of not only very much a part of the film, but I mean, he does write in that the most reused piece of music in
yes,
trailers ever. Is it
yeah.
called Bishop's Escape or something?
It's something like that. But
It's the bit where the
there's
dropship is flying off. Yeah,
yeah, but there's also bits of that movie,
yeah,
that soundtrack that he had used in previous films.
yeah,
Like I'm fairly sure there's a bit. Did he do Wrath of Khan?
yeah. He did. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm fairly sure there's a bit of music in Aliens that's pretty much straight out of Wrath of Khan. And I won't attempt to replicate it, but
I'm not surprised because if you hear about the kind of pressure he was under, that they kept changing the edit
yeah,
every 30 seconds, and he's going, I
yeah,
can't make the music fit this.
yeah. No, yeah, everything about that film, Paul.
Yeah,
I'll stand and fight for everything about that film.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I remember kind of when we first heard about it, when I realized it was James
yeah,
Horner doing the music, I was a bit
yeah,
kind of, oh, I wish it would have been Jerry Goldsmith 'cause I like Jerry Goldsmith's
yeah,
music. But then in later years, obviously, I've heard about Jerry Goldsmith's experience on
yeah,
Alien and thought, yeah, I can see why he didn't want to come back
yeah, yeah.
because they
Um,
replaced half his music with classical music and bits of music from other scores that he'd written.
Yeah, Ridley Scott being a pain in the arse. Couldn't have
Yes.
guessed. Um,
Yeah, that's I mean it's there are less kind of horror stories from aliens of actors talking about kind of difficult conditions than there are from some of his other films. So it seems to have, although he didn't
yeah,
get on with the crew, he seems to have kind of done quite well with the actors on that one.
he seems to have done, but I think it was the crew he had a problem with. Actors are actors. Actors do what they're told.
Yeah. I can kind of see both sides of the argument with the thing with him with the crew because
Yeah,
in a way, the British crew insisting on having their tea breaks and, going home when their day is finished and what have you.
yeah,
In a way, being a British person, I can think, yeah, they're entitled to do that. That's their job.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
you can also see his frustration kind of that
I
going
think
on.
you just see that as a classic bit of, I'm not Canadian, but American diplomacy.
Yeah,
It's like I'm sure there was an easier way to handle it
yeah,
than
yeah,
to let it build up to be a war.
yeah,
Because they talk about how he was trying to show them Terminator so they could see that he could
yeah,
actually do the job, and they wouldn't watch it.
yeah,
Well, something's got to happen for a bunch of blokes to go, no, I'm not even going to sit and watch your film because
yeah,
you're an arse.
yeah,
They've already decided you're an arse.
yeah,
You've got to win them over before they decide you're an arse.
yeah,
So
yeah,
obviously he didn't do that,
yeah. So, I mean,
but he is an arse.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that Aliens possibly more so than Alien and possibly more so than a lot of science fiction films has had an like massive visual influence on a lot of films after it.
Mm.
I
And
think
a character influence
yeah, it looked
because
like
that's
Starship
sort of
Troopers and Edge of Tomorrow and things like that.
exactly the group of people and the mixing,
Yeah,
having Vasquez and women mixed in with the men and it being treated as completely normal. It's not a
yeah,
big thing.
yeah.
I don't remember too much of that before then,
No,
but
no.
after then it was kind of like, oh yeah, we should do this because that's cool because that's the future.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
the archetypes, like
yeah,
you say, the loudmouth, overconfident guy, the
yeah,
tough woman, the laid back sergeant,
yeah,
and like you say, Starship Troopers and any number of other films, and especially a lot of low budget films.
yeah.
It always seems to be the same sort of thing.
What's interesting, actually, I mean, you do get those characters again and again, but I don't think anywhere else has done a character like Hicks because Hicks is kind of he's like he
Mm.
does it's almost like he's want to take charge, really. You
No,
know,
he's very reluctant. It's just like yeah,
you get that point where Ripley says, "Oh, he's the senior officer," and he's like, "Yeah."
yeah, okay, yeah. I'll just do what she said though.
And that's quite interesting. You don't often get a character like that in anything.
And the fact, like I say, the fact that once he does get put in that position, he doesn't actually make a decision of his own.
Yeah, yeah,
He just does what she said to do anyway.
yes,
And
yeah,
that's what I particularly like about that film and about Terminator 2
yeah,
is when those of us who complain about the way films are made today, and
yeah,
I think I do it a little bit more than you do, there's this thing about the way female characters are treated
yeah,
as,
yeah,
extra special and they can do no wrong.
yeah,
But Cameron was doing it back in 1986
yeah,
and in 19 whenever Terminator 2 was 1990 or whatever. The girl boss nature of Ripley
yeah,
and of Sarah Connor
yeah,
is off the scale. If
yeah,
those films were made now
yeah,
with almost the exact same script, people would be going, "Oh, that's ridiculous,"
yeah.
because they were the first of that kind of character.
What's interesting about Ripley though is that kind of you get people go, oh, starts as a space truck driver and she ends up as a soldier. I don't
Mm.
think she does end up as a soldier. I think she starts as a space truck driver and ends up as a space truck driver who kicks ass. I don't think she
Yeah,
commits to the
yeah.
full being a soldier thing.
Now she ain't a soldier. She's just a truck driver with a gun.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like she does anything that would be unsurvivable.
yeah.
Easy.
Right, so we're heading towards
I
the
was going to
end
say,
of
are we running out of
our
time?
allotted time. So I'll thank you again for joining me this evening.
Very good. I'm sure we've talked a load of crap.
Yes. That was Aliens. Join me again next time for another voyage into the unknown in the October Club. You have been listening to the October Club, presented by Paul Ferry with special guest star Ben Hudson. The title theme was composed and performed by Peter Faulkner, and the episode was edited and produced by Paul Ferry. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe, or leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts from. This was a Mosaic production.